the year, kind of finally winding 2020 down. Are you kind of looking forward to getting to the break and kind of putting this year behind you?
Yeah, it's funny because I've been wishing this year away for so long, and now that we're going into 2021, I don't know if what I was expecting to be different. I think it's going to be a lot of the same, but we figured it all out and we know what we're doing now. So, we have more of a direction than we did when this whole thing started.
Are you looking at like any kind of revisions for next year and like how you handle things to kind of try to eliminate these fight week COVID tests, or maybe even like the vaccine? Would you try to encourage the fighters to get the vaccine? What's the plan?
I don't know. Listen, we're always trying to get better at it, and if you saw the story that came out, we by far have the lowest, positivity rate out of any other sport that's done it by a mile, and. We're going to continue to do what we do and get better. And I don't know about vaccines or any of that. People asking me questions about arenas and all this stuff. I have no idea. But I told you, and I'll tell you again, I'm not going into an arena until we can sell out an arena. I'll stay here.
Fair enough. Well, as far as this week goes, Flyweight main event. Flyweight headliners at a pay-per-view didn't always mean big numbers for you. Are you seeing differently with Deiveson? Is he resonating any more than maybe some of your past flyweight champions?
Yeah, and the reality, first of all, that this dude throws everything with bad intentions. His stare down just had bad intentions. This guy is a bad dude, and this is a great fight. Number one versus the champion. Doesn't get any better than that, and the card is stacked. This card is packed with great fights that you got to see, so that doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, the co-main event, I think, is one that everybody's really looking forward to with Ferguson and Oliveira. These guys get bonuses all the time. Charles said that he thinks, a win here, he could fight for a title. Obviously, Tony's been around. Are you looking at this as kind of title implications?
Listen, either guy that wins this fight could be in a title fight, yeah?
Are there any updates, by the way, on the lightweight title? Have you had your meeting with Habib yet, or have you talked to him? Do we know what the future of the lightweight division is?
I'm meeting him next month.
Next month. Fair enough. I wanted to ask you, last week it seemed like we were talking about Yoel Romero. This week it's Anthony Johnson. What can you tell us about that process and him basically leaving the organization?
Yeah. Listen, we love the guy. I have a great relationship with him. I've always liked him. Never had any problems with him other than a little weight-cutting issues back at 170. But other than that, he's a great guy. We love him. We'd love to have him here. But it's probably better for him to go somewhere else.
Did he say why he didn't want to be with the UFC?
No, he does want to be with the UFC. Just didn't work out.
You want him. He wants to be here, but it didn't work out.
Ask him. That's his business, not mine.
Fair enough. Last thing for me, I know you normally say the legal stuff, you leave it up to the lawyers to handle, but there was a pretty big statement made yesterday with the certification of the antitrust suit. Do you have
I literally know nothing about
it. So
I literally know nothing. Not one thing.
Potentially, I think they could be like $4 billion worth of damages awarded. Does that concern you at all with the
Not
future
even a little
of the company?
Bit. It concerns me so much that I don't even know anything about it.
Fair enough. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Dana.
Hey.
Is this something of a crossroads fight for Tony, right? Because if he loses to Charles Oliveira after the loss to Gaethje, people are going to say, his day's done. Do you think he needs to look impressive to keep up there? Otherwise, he risks falling right down the rankings.
What's the question?
Is this a crossroads fight for Tony in that if he loses to Charles, people are going to start saying he's done and his best days are behind him?
I don't know what people are going to say, but, we all know that Tony's dangerous in any fight. I don't want to take anything away from Gaethje, but Tony does some crazy things sometimes. Tony does things that don't make sense sometimes. And I don't think that Tony should have made weight when he didn't have to fight and then had to turn around and make weight again. Care how tough you are, how long you've been doing this, that takes a toll on your body. I believe, personally, that it impacted his fight against Gaethje. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow night. Oliveira is a bad dude everywhere, on the feet, on the ground. He's dangerous. Stylistically, you couldn't have a more fun fight than this co-main event is. When we made this fight, the day in the matchmaking room, we were pumped about it. So we did it. We got here. We got through COVID. Everybody made weight, and here we are. So this is a fun one, man. If you are a fight fan, tomorrow night's card is the last card of the year on pay-per-view, and it's a badass card. The jiu-jitsu matchup with the women is a badass fight. I mean, you just go through the whole card. Holland and Jacare, and the list goes on and on.
Yeah, I mean, even opening up with Junior Dos Santos and Cyril Garner.
Exactly.
What's the upside for someone like Cyril Garner if he beats Junior Dos Santos and he's, look at the guy's huge? Does he have a great upside?
There's nothing but upside. I mean, he's ranked number 14, and I think JDS is number 7. Nothing but upside. It breaks him into the top 10. He's one of the biggest, scariest, hard-hitting dudes in the division, and he moves like a middleweight. There's nothing but upside for that guy. And plus, we've all had a rough 2020. He's had a really rough 2020. I mean, fights have been falling out left and right for this guy. He's here. He's going in against a guy who can break him into the top 10 with a win. Nothing but upside.
And in that division, and I know that you hate this sort of stuff, but do we have an update on the title fight between Ngannou and Miocic? Have you got a date in mind for that fight?
No.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Dana.
Yep.
Dana over here. There's a lot of talk about what could be next for the winner of Figueiredo and Moreno. Cody Garbrandt's out there. You got guys like Askar Askarov making their way up. I mean, have you thought about what you would prefer following Saturday?
No, I'm just pumped for Saturday. I'm just looking at that, and this is the last one of the year. Then I'm going on vacation, and I'm not thinking about anything about what's next in that division. Just Saturday night.
Not for nothing, but has Henry Cejudo said anything about, being intrigued by Figueiredo and anything like that? Have you spoken with him since
No. Henry Cejudo's retired. I haven't talked to him at all.
Just an update. Obviously, when you see the lightweight division in action, people are talking about what's next. Is there any update on Michael Chandler and who and when we might see him?
We're working on that. We'll have something for you guys soon.
My final question, there are a lot of fans, they love coming out to watch UFC live. We know the state of things are, but what would you say to those fans who are just like, Dana, we miss coming out here to watch it?
I don't blame you. I miss a lot of things too. There's a lot of shit that I like to go out and do too that I'm not doing right now. It's unfortunate, and I can't wait till we do get the fans back. I mean, imagine the first one live when we can actually sell out the arena and sell every seat. It's going to be special. I think that when we finally get fans back, it's going to be like the first show in Toronto, the first show in New York City, and the list goes on and on. It's going to be one of those type of events. It's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
Right. Staying in the flyweight division, you also had Manny Cape weigh in as a possible backup. He's had a pretty rough 2022. He hasn't even made his debut yet. So what do you see in him that similar to Michael Chandler, he's weighing in as a replacement. He hasn't even had a fight yet.
Yeah, who did you say?
Manny Cape.
Yeah. What's the question?
What do you see in him that he's weighing in as a replacement and he hasn't even made his debut yet? Similar to the Michael Chandler situation.
Yeah, no, I love guys that do this. I was just talking to Megan back there, and this has been the year of stepping up. I mean, so many people have stepped up, whether it's late notice fights, coming in as a replacement, making weight. It's been a really cool year. Everybody's sort of banded together to make these things happen. And as fucked up as this year was, it's been a cool experience at the same time. Between me and my staff and the fighters, and it's been a really unique, cool year. I don't know how else to explain it other than it's been awesome. And shitty at the same time, if that makes sense.
Dana, going back to the trying to get live events, do you see, has there been any update? Because there's rumblings on possible fans being at the Fight Island fight for Conor.
Yeah, we're not sure yet, but that's a goal. What I want to do is go back to Fight Island, do a Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, with the last Saturday being Conor, and do like an international fight week. You guys were there. I mean, pool parties and just so much cool stuff that you can do in Abu Dhabi, and that's what we're hoping to pull off. I don't know if we can, but that's the hope.
Have the powers that be at Abu Dhabi, they've been pretty positive towards that?
Yeah, I mean, they were positive our last trip there about us coming back in 2021 and being able to do that. And then you look at what's going on. They got their thing under control over there. They're light years ahead of the rest of the world, and they got their stuff dialed in. The problem is, as COVID's starting to spread right now, do you want to fly 20,000 people in from other countries outside of the bubble to party and go to an event. That's the big question right now.
Would this be a situation where fans would have to be quarantined for?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how we would. That's part of the problem, is figuring the thing out, and pre-testing and testing when they're there, and there's a lot of things that we're talking about.
Do you see the live events happening outside of the country, outside of the United States, before they actually happen here first?
I do. I think so. I mean, we could do them right now if we didn't have to quarantine for 2 weeks. We can't go do an event somewhere, sell it out, and then have to quarantine everybody for 2 weeks. That we can't do. I mean, we have fights every Saturday, normally, you know what I mean? So it would be very hard to do, especially with our staff and officials. The list goes on and on.
One more thing. You mentioned there's been positives for this year. A lot of people look at 2020 as being a cluster. What would you say are the highlights for the company, for the UFC and the sport?
The business. I mean, the numbers have gone like this. We broke every record this year except for Live Gate. So didn't lay off one employee, honored every fighter contract. Everybody made money. We didn't cut anybody's salaries. Just it's been a win-win-win over here as far as the business goes. But personally, it's tough on all of us. All the things that are going on, and I know that some people have gotten really sick, and some people have lost loved ones. I mean, stuff like that. But other than all the positives as far as the business go, it couldn't be any more positive.
Thanks.
All right, bud. Good? All right, guys, thanks.